I'm always curious in the archivist industry. Everybody I focus on technical stuff like software, render engines, and stuff like that. But in the end of the day, what is the recurring topic is that everybody talks about this sort of soft talent, like I don't know, composition, colors, and so on. Do you have some advice for people who want to get better in this? Sometimes, for me, for example, when I go to museums and I see certain paintings from back in the days, and you see the colors and, for example, the depth, the composition, and then you think, oh, these guys back in the days were like what nowadays CG artists like do with computers. What would be your suggestion to learn or to start coaching your sensibility and eyes to do it better?
Should I?
Yeah,
Okay.
sure.
Actually, going to museums, great start. We are, consumers of Netflix series and great movies. András's inspirations are also very moving on a very wide range from Blade Runner to Tarkovsky, and mine are also on a wide range from famous Hungarian painters to Simon Stålenhag to also Blade Runner. I think a way of absorbing inspiration and input regarding composition, lights, colors is keeping your eye open actively, I would say, like in a way that you don't just see things, you watch or look for those things that you want to learn. Like I always tell this when I am or was doing speeches on the academy. I always told this story that one of my favorite series is the Bridge series, the Bruin, this murder series, and my wife always hated me when I was freeze framing some of the shots in it and trying to explain how good the composition is. I am still watching, and I was watching every TV show, every series with an eye. That I was looking always for the best composition, best setup. But I think it's not enough. I think why I personally gained a lot from this is that from the beginning, as a child, I was learning from my father. He was just simply teaching me painting and drawing, and you need to watch and do things at the same time, because you can so I'm telling so many cliches. So you learn through your hand as well, like controlling a mouse or drawing. I think that's also a way of seeing and understanding how a composition works. But you cannot skip museums, cannot skip Tarkovsky, cannot skip watching movies and series in the way that you are looking for those compositions and trying to find them and understand them and master them. I think that's
we fully agree on this. We fully
agree
agree on this, and funnily, like this, stopping the Netflix series and freeze the picture is something that I always tell the same content in the same way as my story, because I'm doing the same thing. It's from a same content, but from another approach, when I'm teaching in the academy, what I realized that, many of the people are working in architectural visualization. They have architect background, but actually they're doing a job which is quite different from what they have to do as an architect, obviously. And they don't have, by education, they don't have a couple of basic knowledge about fine art, art in general, what they should have, because they have architecture background. And I always tell that, if you do this job and you do visual art, you need to have that background, that know-how, knowledge, at least on basic level. And it's most of the time lacking. So whenever, and please students, don't take it in a hard way, but if I, put a slide in showing a painting from Vermeer or Rembrandt, most of the time they have no idea who is the painter. When I'm asking, okay,
sometimes not even the painting rings a bell.
Yeah, and that's, I think it's a little bit sad, because I'm not showing like something, less known painters from the Baroque or Romantic ages. I'm showing like the top, 20 painters or something. So, and I think this is something which is a lack of knowledge if you do visual arts. That's, I think, one message. And secondly, what Martin is saying, to be exciting about nice visual things and not just about other visualization, and get inspiration from others. Like, my favorite composition flow is a shot from a Tarkovsky movie called Mirror. It's a really old movie, and I get so excited, like showing to people that, and like most of the people are like, it's an old one and it looks squared and not even wide, camera, and
4x3
format, and it's noisy, and it's, if you are not excited about that, then you should be excited about these things, and you should understand why is that exciting, visually, composition wise, color palette wise. So this is something where you a little bit also train yourself, like understanding these things. And we're just scratching the surface, because we're talking about compositions and colors, but then other levels of philosophical levels of these messages, which is also important, I think, to and film and cinematography is one of the, for me at least, a great inspiration. And obviously in Arquiz, that's one of the main source of inspiration. Probably it's part of the, digital art culture, both industry, and that's why, I'm not sure. But definitely films are something that we are usually excited about.
But yeah, nowadays it's pretty easy, because it became a trend that even on the cheapest Netflix series, they are keen on hiring a cinematographer who can do nice compositions and light setups, because it's a minimum requirement nowadays. I don't know, 5-10 years ago, even the highest end or most artistic movies didn't have this need for or drive to make every single shot a perfect composition.
Nowadays,
I don't know where it started, but nowadays even
you remember 2 days ago I sent you a photo. Mm-hmm. I watched this not Netflix, it was on Prime, The Old Man. That was the name of the series. It's a simple crime, whatever action, whatever series. And there was like one kind of vision stuff, which was like copy pasted from Tarkovsky, from the movie called Stalker. Yeah. But it was like a copy paste. And it's like, 10 years ago, you wouldn't have imagined like something like that kind of well-composed scene is in a pretty common series on whatever TV. So this is pretty cool and really great, because it's we're living in a visually much better quality world now. That's what I believe.
But I would advise still not to skip the museums either, because if you do that, you end up composing yourself in front of a webcam in the golden ratio, with the blue light from right side and the red one from the left side, because that's what you seen last night on Netflix. So you need the basics as well, I think. All these together can make you a great artist. Plus Netflix, Instagram, and so on. But I think, I'm sorry, and don't want to overtalk this, but I think to be able to distinguish great art from just nicely made compositions and shallow messages in a series, I think you need to experience the finest art, which you obviously not find on Netflix necessarily. So you can only learn from a Netflix series regarding composition and storytelling if you really know what the highest end or the finest art is, because then you start appreciating almost everything that is, I don't know, that has a minimum amount of story, or where the hero character is composed in the right third of the shot. So being critical about it, that's the hardest thing to learn. That's it.
I can add on this that I'm an architect, but I have had the luck and the fortune to grow up in Rome, and I decided that I wanted to be an architect really early on. So I went to a high school of fine art. So we would study art in all the forms of in form of painting, sculpting, and then after a couple of years you can decide if you want to go deeper into one direction. And I went into design and interior design and furniture design. But by studying history of art, you study how step by step the form of human expression has evolved, and also you go into the deep into why certain artists did something in certain way. For example, I don't know, in Italy we studied a lot of the Italian art, and also we could go into the museum right in the city and see it. And for example, I don't know, if you see a painting from Caravaggio, for instance, you can see that there is this dark background and the light is external of the scene, and this creates a certain contrast. And when you read about how the artist was used to compose, and when you go to the museum and experience it, and then when you watch the Netflix series, you kind of connect the dots. And then when you see a brick image, and you connect the final dots, and you're like, aha, this is something inspired by maybe this and this. Or also photography, if you take a camera, you understand how the lenses work. So you understand how you can shape the space in a way that it's not actually seen from the human eye, but it's seen from a camera. So I think these are kind of, for me, logical things that I would do if I were to, I don't know, start teaching myself something that's in that direction.
This is that process of mimesis, when you get inspired and you create another piece of art based on another artwork, but it's not copy pasting. You create the way what you make is it can be even better than the original one. And that's what I usually also teaching in the academy, because we do the same. Like when we creating draft visualization, we usually try to use references, not other companies' visualization, but but architecture photos or from films, whatever, but using those references to create our artwork drafts in the early phase of creating the images. And that's a kind of process of mimesis. I have a really nice example that I usually show on the Academy as well. If you just search Tarkovsky and then Revenant, the movie called Revenant, probably everyone knows it. And there is a super nice video when they put several Tarkovsky movie and next to it Revenant, and like many shots and scenes are basically mimicking Tarkovsky one by one. Even symbolism is like the same, and it's quite long video actually, and it's shockingly, surprisingly similar. And obviously both directors are amazing, and Revenant is an amazing movie.
And Inarritu is an amazing director.
Yes, but still, it's super interesting to watch through this. And this is mimesis. This is how you create artwork, or one way how you can create artwork, and it's super nice.